Okay. In the article, Social Media Addiction and Mental Health, the Growing Concern for Youth Well-Being, Minamotina writes, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults is living with mental illness, and the prevalence of mental health problems among youth is even more alarming. Social media usage has been negatively linked to mental well-being, with outcomes such as depressive disorder, social media addiction, shorter attention span, anxiety, eating disorders, suicidal ideation, and the list goes on. This topic is gaining relevance as technology becomes more incorporated into our everyday lives. I personally started using social media around the ages of 11 or 12, and looking back, I can definitely recognize the consequences of overuse and overexposure. I think a lot of adolescents can relate to my experience, and more so, adults who are watching the younger generation struggle with access to media. To fully break down the impact of social media, I'm going to discuss how the overuse and overexposure can have mental health effects on everyone, not just developing minds. I will also discuss how COVID-19 made this worse for society because the only form of engagement with the outside world would have to be through a device. My final point is steps that we can take every day to prioritize our mental health in a world where technology is growing. Technology is made to connect societies, but it's actually disconnecting us from each other, ourselves, and our well-being. As researchers continue to study the repercussions of social media, they find that it can trigger behaviors that are addictive, depressive, and impulsive. The American College of Pediatrics warns in 2020 that media use and screen time are associated with increased risks for children and adolescents, such as attention deficits, increased aggression, low self-esteem, and depression. The American Psychological Association also highlights the correlation between high social media usage and poor mental health among adolescents. The neurological makeup of the brain during development is heavily influenced by the social reward system, where receptors for oxytocin and dopamine increase, making us more vulnerable to addictive behaviors. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivations, reward systems, and instinctual behaviors all develop in the prefrontal cortex, which is stimulated and activated every time we use social media. To put simply, our biological makeup makes every single one of us susceptible to social media addiction before we even consider the age of usage, the amount of usage, or individual vulnerabilities. Some would consider social media usage amongst younger generations an epidemic, such as the City of New York, the New York Department of Education, and the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, who have filed a lawsuit against TikTok, Meta, Snap, and YouTube to hold the companies accountable for fueling the nationwide youth mental health crisis. Social media companies partner with addiction specialists to help form an algorithm that will keep people scrolling for hours, which contributes significantly to the consequences of brain rotting or doom scrolling, two terms used to describe the action of chasing fake dopamine for hours. Now, let's discuss how the heightened use of social media during COVID-19 heightened isolation amongst everyone. It also resulted in higher levels of overuse and overexposure in adolescents and even younger. According to the National Library of Medicine, rates of depression boosted from about 14 to 48%, anxiety from 7 to 48%, and stress to 38% after exposure to social media coverage of COVID-19 news in the general population. To further elaborate, COVID-19 highlighted that excessive use of social media to cope with feelings of fear and confusion only continue to fester panic and isolation. The unexpected transition to complete isolation has had a lasting impact on how adults and adolescents rely on social media for connection, stimulation, and entertainment. Researchers have compared the addiction to social media during this time to the addiction of a drug where people are not comfortable without it. COVID-19 and social media is believed to have a detrimental impact on the way the brain manipulates pseudo-stimulation from social media as a reward, trigger, or motivator. When effects of something so prevalent are exposed, it can feel scary as a daily user, but there are steps that we can take every day to help gain some of the positive aspects social media has to offer. In the same article, Social Media Addiction and Mental Health, the author writes, as individuals, we must take responsibility for our own mental health in the digital age. This means being mindful of the time we spend on social media, curating our feeds to include positive and uplifting content, and prioritizing offline activities and relationships. Making it a priority to maintain these activities, maintain a regular sleep schedule, and have wind-down activities can help relax and regulate the mind and body. The overexposure and overuse of social media does more harm than good and can quickly influence an individual's ability to emotionally regulate, make rational decisions, and be socially prepared. These influences were heightened during COVID-19 pandemic, spiraling people into a deeper isolation. With technology and social media expanding into classrooms, homes, and offices, it's important that we not avoid it, but just be aware of the consequences of it. Too many adults and adolescents are leaning on social media and facing severe consequences. By acting now, we can collectively grow more resilient. Thank you.